My fiancée drained my card to buy her ex, a gaming setup for Christmas, then gave me nothing saying, "Real men don't beg women for gifts. Stop acting like a little bee." So I got brutal revenge. Sup Reddit. Let me tell you about the Christmas that ended my engagement and kicked off a 6-month war that completely wrecked my ex-fiance's life. I, 29 male, work as a fleet logistics coordinator for a regional shipping company, solving problems when trucks break down at 3 in the morning. The kind of job where you handle chaos all day and nobody thanks you until something goes catastrophically wrong. My fiancée Greer, 27 female, worked as a social media coordinator for a pet influencer account. Yeah, you read that right. She managed Instagram and TikTok for someone's golden retriever that had 2 million followers. Her job was literally posting videos of a dog wearing costumes and writing captions in baby talk. Made decent money somehow, which still blows my mind. 48 grand a year to make a dog internet famous. The owner was some tech exec's wife who turned her hobby into a business. We'd been together 3 years, engaged for about 8 months when everything imploded. And looking back, there were warning signs I just chose to ignore because the chemistry was good and I was an idiot. Here's the thing about Greer's money philosophy that should have sent me running. We split rent and utilities evenly. She paid for her own gas and handled her personal bills. Normal roommate stuff. But anything relating to us as a couple, anything romantic or relationship-focused, that was supposed to fall on me exclusively. Dates were my responsibility. Trips were my contribution. Special occasions meant I paid. According to her worldview, men should handle the romantic gestures and financial heavy lifting in relationships. That's just natural order. Traditional values, masculine responsibility. She genuinely believed this. Grew up watching her dad handle every dinner check, every vacation, every gift for her mom, while her mom handled the household and emotional labor. Her parents had been married 32 years running that same playbook. Her dad never complained about it. Seemed proud of it, actually. Greer saw that growing up and absorbed it like gospel. In her mind, that's just how functional relationships worked. The man provides the romance and experiences. The woman provides the emotional support and stability. Separate roles. Equal value. Made perfect sense to her. The wedding was set for late March. Her parents were covering the venue and catering. I'd been saving for the honeymoon. About $6,500 stacked in a dedicated account. Every penny from my own paychecks. She'd contributed to smaller wedding expenses like invitations and alterations. But the big romantic gesture stuff, the honeymoon especially, that was all on me according to her rules. 2 weeks in Costa Rica, at a 5-star resort she'd picked after extensive research. I didn't mind the price because we were building a life together. Christmas Eve was supposed to be special. Dinner at her parents' place, the whole extended family there. Aunts, uncles, cousins, about 20 people total. Her mom had gone all out with decorations and food. Very Christmassy. Everyone exchanging gifts. I'd gotten Greer a designer watch she'd mentioned wanting. $450. Wrapped it carefully. Handed it to her in front of everyone. She opened it. Face lit up. Hugged me. Showed it off to her mother and sister. Put it on immediately. Took about 6 selfies with it before we'd even finished opening presents. Posted one to her Instagram story with the caption, "Blessed beyond measure," and a bunch of heart emojis. Her phone kept buzzing with likes and comments while other people were still unwrapping gifts. Her cousin asked what brand it was. Greer went into this whole explanation about the craftsmanship and limited edition line. Kept rotating her wrist to catch the light. Her aunt commented that I must really love her. Greer agreed without looking at me. Too busy posing for another photo. Then it was my turn. She handed me a small gift bag. I opened it. Inside was a $10 Starbucks gift card. I looked at it for a second, then looked at the watch on her wrist. 450 versus 10. The math wasn't complicated. I set the bag on the coffee table without comment. The room went dead silent. Her family was watching. Greer was still admiring her watch, taking more photos, showing different angles to her cousins. Hadn't even looked at me to see my reaction to what she'd given me. Her aunt made some comment about how beautiful the watch was, and Greer launched into explaining the brand and how she'd wanted this exact model for months. Her sister Ashley broke the silence. "So what did you get him, G?" Greer glanced over casually. "Coffee card. Practical stuff he can actually use." Ashley's expression shifted slightly. She'd seen the watch, knew what I'd spent, looked uncomfortable, made eye contact with me briefly, then looked away quick. Her brother mumbled something about checking on the kids, left the room. 2 of her cousins suddenly got very interested in their phones. The energy in that living room dropped like someone had opened a window in January. Greer's mom started passing out more gifts to other family members, moving things along, started asking her brother about his kid's school play coming up. Anything to shift the energy. About 20 minutes later, while people were cleaning up wrapping paper, Greer pulled me aside into the kitchen. She had this irritated look on her face. You could have at least acted more grateful. I put thought into that gift. I looked at her calmly. I said thank you. Barely. You just set it down like it was nothing. My whole family noticed. What exactly did you want me to do? She crossed her arms. I don't know. Maybe show some appreciation. Be excited about it? I remembered you drink coffee. I thought it was thoughtful. I didn't respond. Just looked at her. She got more worked up. This is ridiculous. You know what your problem is? You expect too much. Real men don't sit around keeping score about what women spend on them. It's honestly kind of embarrassing how you're acting right now. My phone buzzed in my pocket. Text alert. I pulled it out. Fraud alert from my credit card company. Transaction flagged for review. Best Buy, $4,763. Card present. December 23rd, 3:47 p.m. Did you authorize this purchase? Reply yes or no. I stared at the screen. $4,763. Best Buy, yesterday. I'd been at work. Hadn't been to Best Buy in months. My wallet felt lighter in my pocket than usual. I pulled it out and checked. Card was there. But something clicked. Yesterday, I'd left my wallet on the kitchen counter while I showered after work. Greer had been home. I'd found it moved to the coffee table later. Didn't think anything of it at the time. Greer was still talking. You know what your problem is? You expect too much. Real men don't ask women for money or gifts. Stop acting so feminine about everything. You sound like a little princess sometimes, honestly. Said it like she was explaining gravity to a kid. She wasn't being playful. It was straight manipulation. I looked up from my phone, looked at her directly. She was still going on about masculine responsibility and how I needed to get over myself. I interrupted her mid-sentence. I need some air. What? We're in the middle of a conversation. We're done here. I walked out of the kitchen, grabbed my jacket. Her dad was asking if everything was okay. I said I wasn't feeling well. Needed to head out early. Apologized for cutting the night short. Kept it polite and brief. Greer followed me to the door, trying to laugh it off, saying I was overreacting, that we could talk about whatever was bothering me right now. I didn't respond. Walked to my truck. Sat in the driver's seat. Opened my banking app. Checked recent transactions. There it was. Best Buy on Route 22. December 23rd. $4,763. In-store purchase. Physical card present. Chip verified. Timestamp 3:47 p.m. I'd been at work until 6 that day. Nowhere near that store. I pulled up my work calendar just to confirm. Had a meeting with the dispatch team at 3:30 that afternoon. Checked my email timestamps from that day. Sent messages at 3:52 p.m. and 4:18 p.m. from my work computer. Clear alibi that I was nowhere near that Best Buy. I called the credit card company right there in the driveway. Told them I was reporting the transaction as unauthorized. Card was in my wallet right now. Someone else had used it. The rep walked me through the fraud reporting process. Put a freeze on the card immediately. Said I'd need to file a police report. That someone in my household using the card without permission complicated things legally, but they'd process the dispute. I gave them all the information they needed, confirmed my identity, verified recent legitimate charges. They froze the account within minutes. Greer texted while I was still on the phone. Where did you go? Everyone's asking. You're embarrassing me. I didn't reply. Drove home, got there first, sat on the couch, waited. She arrived about 40 minutes later, came through the door looking annoyed. Started immediately with how I'd ruined Christmas, how her family was asking questions, how her dad thought I was being childish. I stood up. Pack your stuff. You're leaving. Tonight. She stopped mid-sentence. What? You heard me. Get out. I'm done. Her expression shifted from annoyed to confused to defensive in about 2 seconds. You can't just kick me out. We live here together. Lease is in my name only. You've got until morning to get your essentials. Rest of your stuff you can coordinate pickup later. But you're not staying here another night. This is insane. What is wrong with you? I know about the Best Buy charge. $4,763 on my card. You took it without asking. Her face went carefully neutral. That flicker of panic before the lies started. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, you do, and I'm suing you for every penny. Reported it to the bank. Filing a police report tomorrow. Get out. She started crying. Real tears this time. You're being ridiculous. Can we please just talk about this like adults? No, there's nothing to talk about. You stole from me. Pack your stuff and leave. I didn't steal anything. God, you're such a jerk sometimes. You're being completely close-minded about this. Close-minded about theft? Try again. She wiped her eyes, voice getting sharper. You don't even know what happened. You're just jumping to conclusions because you're jealous. Jealous of what exactly? Of me having friends. Of me having a life outside of you. This is about Reese, isn't it? So she was going there, already trying to flip this into me being controlling. This is about you using my credit card without permission. That's theft. And yeah, I'm suing your butt for it. Oh my God, you're insane. Suing me? Over a misunderstanding? This is why we have problems. You blow everything out of proportion. Pack your stuff. You've got 1 hour. She looked at me like I'd slapped her. Where am I supposed to go? Not my problem. Should have thought about that before stealing from me. I can't believe you're doing this. Over money. This is who you really are, huh? Just petty and vindictive. 1 hour. Then I'm changing the locks. She grabbed her phone, started texting someone frantically. Probably her parents or Ashley. Tears streaming down her face, but her jaw was set. Angry crying now. Fine, I'll leave. But I'm coming back when you've calmed down and we're going to talk about this properly. You can't just end 3 years over nothing. I'm perfectly calm. And this isn't nothing. Don't bother coming back unless it's to return my money. She went into the bedroom. I heard drawers slamming, hangers scraping. She was throwing stuff into bags without any organization, just grabbing whatever she could reach. 20 minutes later, she came out with 2 duffel bags, eyes red and puffy, mascara smeared. You're going to regret this. When you realize how stupid you're being, don't come crawling back. I didn't respond. Held the door open. She walked out, slammed her car door hard enough that I heard it from inside. Tires squealed as she pulled out of the parking lot. I locked the door behind her, sat back down on the couch. Tomorrow I'd file the police report. Tonight I was changing every password she might have access to. But first, I needed to know exactly what I was dealing with. Woke up early, around 7 in the morning. Greer had texted twice overnight. First one at 2:34 a.m. saying she was staying at Ashley's and that I was making a huge mistake. Second one at 6:12 a.m. asking if I'd calmed down yet. Ignored both. I had the apartment to myself. Her iPad was still on the kitchen counter. She'd grabbed her phone and laptop but forgot the tablet in her rush to leave. Same password she'd used for years. 4 digits. Her birthday backwards. Opened her messages. Searched for Reese. Found him immediately. They'd been talking daily for 5 months. Not occasional check-ins. Constant communication. Good morning texts. Inside jokes. Long voice memos about her frustrations. Things she supposedly couldn't share with anyone else. The messages started mid-July. He'd reached out first saying he saw her engagement announcement on Facebook and wanted to congratulate her. She responded thanking him. Said it felt surreal to be getting married. Within a week, they were texting daily. By August, the boundary line had completely disappeared. I scrolled through weeks of messages. Her complaining about me forgetting to take out the trash. Him validating her frustrations. Her venting about my long work hours. Him saying she deserved better attention. Every minor relationship friction turned into ammunition for whatever they were building. Then, I found the thread that led to the gaming rig. November 29th, 9:43 p.m. Reese mentioned wanting a serious gaming setup but being unable to afford one. All his friends had incredible rigs, and he was stuck with a 5-year-old laptop. Said he felt left out when everyone was playing together online. Made it sound pathetic and lonely. November 30th, 2:17 p.m. Greer's response. I'm going to make that happen for you. You absolutely deserve something good in your life. Let me handle it. His response. You're seriously incredible, G. I don't know what I did to deserve having you back in my life. Your man is extremely lucky. Her response made my blood run cold. He doesn't appreciate me the way you do. Never really has. 3 years together. Ring on her finger. Wedding date set. And she's telling her ex I don't appreciate her while plotting to use my money for his Christmas present. I kept scrolling. Found more. December 18th, she'd asked him to send his exact specifications for the build. Monitor size. Graphics card preferences. RGB lighting or not. He sent a detailed wish list like a kid writing to Santa. She responded with heart emojis and told him to be patient. After she bought the setup, she sent photos. The receipt showing the exact components. Asus ROG monitor. RTX 4070 GPU. The box is in her trunk. Him unboxing everything. The assembled rig glowing with RGB lights. Him grinning next to his new gaming throne. There were at least 15 photos documenting the whole process, like she was a proud parent on Christmas morning. December 24th, 11:32 p.m. His message after setup. When can I thank you properly for this? I miss you, G. Been thinking about us together lately. More than I probably should. Her response. Soon. Things are complicated right now, but we'll figure it out. Promise. Things are complicated. Meaning me. I was the complication. I screenshotted everything. Sent it all to my email. Documented the credit card situation with dates and her explanations. Cleared my activity from her iPad. Put it back exactly where I found it. Now I had ammunition. Hard evidence of what she'd been doing behind my back for months. The theft wasn't just theft. It was her funding a relationship with her ex using my money while I saved for our honeymoon. Went straight to the police station. The police station smelled like industrial cleaner and stale coffee. Walked in at 8:30. Asked to file a report for credit card fraud. The deputy was an older guy, mid-50s, looked like he'd heard every variation of human stupidity. I explained the situation. Unauthorized credit card use. $4,700 charge I didn't make. Card taken from my wallet without permission by someone I lived with. Used to buy property for a third party. Card was frozen as of last night. He took notes. Asked the standard questions. When I discovered it. When it occurred. Who had access? I showed him my wallet with the card still present. His expression shifted when I said, Fiancée. You could see him mentally filing this under messy domestic situation instead of fraud. Did I confront her? Yes. Last night. She denied it initially. Got defensive. Claimed I was jealous of her having friends. Did she have permission? Absolutely not. He finished the report. Handed me a case number. Said the detective division would review it, but domestic financial disputes usually got lower priority unless there was clear ongoing criminal activity. I asked what that meant practically. He said honestly, these situations typically got handled through civil court rather than criminal prosecution. The bank would use the police report during their fraud investigation. I could use it for small claims court if I wanted to pursue her for the money. Said I'd probably seen the last of those funds unless I wanted to lawyer up and fight for it. His tone suggested most people just cut their losses and moved on. I thanked him for the report. Didn't mention that I had zero intention of cutting my losses. I had my report. I had my documentation. That was all I needed. Went straight to the bank. Showed them the police report. Explained everything. The fraud investigator had me sign an affidavit stating I hadn't authorized the charge. Said they'd process the dispute, but it could take 60 to 90 days. In the meantime, I'd be responsible for the charge until their investigation concluded. She recommended getting a new card number. Already done. Card was frozen last night. I also opened a completely new checking account. Transferred my savings. Changed my direct deposit. Made absolutely certain Greer's name wasn't on anything. Asked specifically if there were any accounts or authorized users I was forgetting. The rep checked everything. Confirmed Greer had zero access to any of my finances. Never had. I'd kept everything separate from day one because something in my gut told me to. Contacted my landlord about the situation. Explained I needed to secure the unit and arrange supervised property retrieval for my ex-fiancée. The lease was only in my name. He understood completely. Said he'd coordinated these situations before. Asked if I felt safe or needed to change the locks immediately. I said I'd already changed them this morning. He said he'd draw up the 30-day notice that afternoon. All by the book. Changed all my passwords, email, banking, social media, streaming services. Shut down every access point into my digital life. Went through my phone and laptop changing everything. Took 2 hours. But when I finished, Greer was completely locked out. Froze my credit with all 3 bureaus. Made it impossible for anyone to open accounts in my name. By evening of December 25th, less than 24 hours after discovering the theft, I'd systematically torn apart our shared life piece by piece. Greer had no idea how thoroughly I'd documented everything. She also had no idea that I knew about every single message she'd sent to Reese. Greer showed up 3 days later. Didn't text, didn't call, just knocked on the door like she still lived there. I opened it to find her standing there with Ashley, both of them carrying empty boxes. Greer had that same fake smile plastered on. The one that said everything was fine. Hey, babe. Came to grab some of my stuff. Ashley's helping. Babe. Like we were still together. Like she hadn't just burned through $4,700 of my money on her ex's gaming setup. I didn't move from the doorway. Just stared at her. She shifted her weight. Can I come in? No. Her smile flickered. What do you mean, no? Ashley stepped forward. Decided this was her moment to play peacemaker. Look, I know you two are going through something, but you need to understand that Greer has friends. People who need her support. You should be happy she's generous enough to help them. That's who she is. That's what you signed up for. I turned my eyes to Ashley. Let the silence hang there for a second. You done? She blinked. I'm just saying, I read the messages. All of them. 5 months of daily conversations with Reese, her ex, planning what gaming setup to buy him, complaining about me, talking about missing him, about figuring things out, about when she could thank him properly. Greer's face went white. Ashley's mouth opened. Nothing came out. So yeah, real generous. Using my credit card to buy her ex a $4,700 present while I save for our honeymoon? You're right, I should be thrilled. Greer found her voice. You went through my private messages? Your iPad was sitting on the counter when you walked out. Unlocked. I saw everything. That's a violation of my privacy. And stealing from me isn't? Take off the ring. Her hand went to it instinctively. What? The engagement ring. You're not keeping it. Take it off. This is mine. You gave it to me. Conditional on marriage? We're done. Ring goes back, now. Ashley grabbed her sister's arm. Gee, maybe just... Greer jerked away from her. No, this is mine. I leaned against the doorframe, kept my voice level. You can take it off and hand it over, or I can add $3,000 to the lawsuit I'm filing for the credit card fraud. Your choice, but you're not walking away with it. Lawsuit? Her voice cracked. You're bluffing. Already filed the police report. Small claims paperwork goes in Monday. You'll get served at work. Sheriff hands you court papers in front of your entire office. But sure, call it a bluff. She stood there, hands shaking, eyes darting between me and Ashley. Ashley didn't say anything this time, just looked at the ground. Greer pulled the ring off, held it for a second, then threw it at my feet. Pick it up and hand it to me now. Why are you acting like this? I said pick it up. Fine. I pocketed it. Now the watch. She looked down at her wrist. The designer watch was still there. $450. Her Christmas present. What? Take it off. You're not keeping that either. You can't be serious. Dead serious. Take it off and hand it over. Her face went red. This is petty. This is so petty. You've got 10 seconds or I add it to the lawsuit too. She fumbled with the clasp, hands shaking, pulled it off and shoved it at me. I took it, checked it over. No scratches. Put it in my other pocket. You've got 20 minutes to get your stuff. After that, I'm locking the door. 20 minutes? I can't get everything in. Then you'll come back another time. Coordinate with the landlord. I won't be here. Ashley tried again. Can we please just talk about this like adults? I shut the door in her face. Heard muffled arguing outside. Greer's voice getting louder. Ashley trying to calm her down. Then the door opened. Just Greer. Ashley stayed in the hallway. She walked past me without a word. Went straight to the bedroom. Started grabbing clothes, throwing them in boxes, moving fast. I stood in the living room, arms crossed. Didn't help. Didn't interfere. Just watched. 15 minutes later, she came back out. 3 boxes stacked in her arms. Face blotchy from crying. She stopped at the door. Set the boxes down. Looked at me one last time. You're a cheap man. You know that? Cheap and cold. But I loved you. I really did. Deeply. I didn't respond. She picked up the boxes. Walked out. Ashley was still in the hallway. Started to say something. Greer cut her off. Just help me carry these. They both left without another word. I closed the door. Locked it. Stood in the silence. I called my cousin the next morning. Civil attorney. Laid out everything. He asked if I wanted to pursue this or just move on. I said every penny back. Small claims in New Jersey is capped at $5,000, and my total wasn't. So I filed in special civil part instead. It's still the I'm not hiring a whole legal Avengers team court, just with a higher ceiling. Goes up to $20,000. My cousin turned my rage into clean, dead-eyed demand letters. To Greer, $47,663. 10 days or I file. To Reese, return the equipment or pay equivalent value. Same deadline. Both letters spelled out the facts. Unauthorized charge, police report, documented messages. Professional but firm. No emotion. Just consequences. Sent them certified mail. Signature required. Tracking bookmarked. Greer signed 2 days later. Called screaming. Said no judge would side with me. Called me vindictive and petty. I told her she had 8 days left. She hung up. Re-signed 3 days later. Complete silence. Probably thought I was bluffing. 10 days passed. Neither paid. Neither returned anything. Filed 2 separate cases in special civil part. $180 in filing fees. Got hearing dates. Different weeks. Same courthouse. Had them both served at work. Public. Embarrassing. Greer called after getting served. Sheriff walked right into her open concept office and asked for her by name. Everyone saw. Her boss stood up at his desk and called her over while people stared. I reminded her she could have avoided this. Reese called 2 days later. Said Greer gave him a gift. Said he didn't owe me anything. I explained calmly. The money was stolen. I had documentation. Police reports. Messages showing he knew she was engaged. Property bought with stolen funds. He said I was crazy. I said bring that to court. Neither of them knew how thoroughly I'd documented everything. Greer's hearing came first. Standard special civil part courtroom. Bland government building. About a dozen other cases on the docket. The judge moved through cases like he had somewhere better to be. Our case got called. Greer showed up with a lawyer, young guy. Her parents had paid for representation. Probably cost them $1,500. Could have just paid me back, but pride's expensive. The judge looked at the file. Unauthorized credit card use and return of engagement ring. Plaintiffs claiming what amount? $4,763 for the card. $3,000 for the ring, Your Honor. Her lawyer jumped in. Started his pitch about reasonable belief she could use the card. That they were engaged. That the ring was a completed gift. The judge looked up. Was her name on the account? Her lawyer's confidence wobbled. No, but did she ask permission? Greer spoke up, voice shaky. I was going to tell him, but it slipped my mind. The judge flipped through my evidence. Bank statements, police report, screenshots from November showing her planning it, telling Reese weeks beforehand she'd handle it. The courtroom went quiet. Unauthorized use. Police report filed. Defendant admitted taking the card. Judgment for plaintiff. $47,663. Ring is conditional property. Marriage didn't happen. Defendant must return the ring within 30 days. 90 days to pay the monetary judgment. He looked at Greer. Failure to comply, I sign execution paperwork. Next case. Gavel. 15 minutes total. Greer was crying as we left. Her lawyer looked angry he'd wasted his morning. Her parents were waiting outside. Her mom stared at me like I'd destroyed their family. Her dad wouldn't make eye contact. I walked out feeling vindicated. Reese's hearing was the following week. The judge had that kindergarten teacher stare that made grown men uncomfortable. She reviewed the file in silence. Unjust enrichment. You received property purchased with stolen funds. This judgment is secondary to the plaintiff's claim against the primary defendant. If plaintiff recovers the full amount from the primary defendant, you're released from monetary obligation. However, you still must return the equipment within 30 days, or if the primary judgment remains unsatisfied, pay $4,763. 90 days. Reese tried to argue. She cut him off. We're done. Gavel. In the parking lot, he tried talking to me. Said this wasn't right, that he was just a friend caught in the middle. I stopped. Looked at him. You knew she was engaged. You knew she didn't have that money. You still took expensive gifts and encouraged whatever she was building. Now you deal with consequences. He had nothing to say. I drove home feeling lighter than I had in months. Greer couldn't pay. Never saved anything. Lived paycheck to paycheck despite decent money. Spent it all on clothes and brunch and Instagram-worthy experiences. Her parents refused to help initially. Her dad called. Said this was ridiculous. That real men don't take women to court. I reminded him his daughter stole from me and lied repeatedly. That I'd won legitimate judgments. He called me petty and spiteful. Said I'd regret making an enemy of their family. I told him to have a good day and hung up. Around day 60, Greer started getting desperate. The judgment was public record. Her credit tanked. The pet influencer agency found out after someone Googled her name. Her boss stopped assigning her high-profile campaigns. Started questioning her judgment in team meetings. She tried calling. I didn't answer. Left voicemails. Some angry. Some crying. Some negotiating. Offered installments. $50 a month. Offered volunteer work. Apology letters. Anything except what I wanted, which was my money. Day 85, her parents caved. Her dad called, voice tight. Asked for my address. I gave him the P.O. box. The check arrived 2 days later. $47,663. Her father's handwriting. Memo line said, final payment. I deposited it immediately. Filed satisfaction of judgment with the court. Reese took longer. No cash. Didn't want to return the equipment. Tried stalling. Day 89, some bargain attorney called. Said Reese wanted a payment plan. I said no. Court order was clear. 90 days. The lawyer said be reasonable. That Reese was barely making it. I said he had one more day. Then I'd file for execution. Day 90 came and went. No payment. No equipment. NJ lets you collect through bank levies for civil judgments. I filed the paperwork for a writ of execution for a bank levy. Paid the fees. Once the sheriff served it on his bank, they froze whatever was in there. Didn't warn him first. Reese's rent payment bounced. Card got declined buying groceries. 2 days later, he sent me a photo like I was tech support. A neon paper taped to his apartment door saying, "Notice to quit." No explanation. Just the picture and 3 missed calls. Then he called me sounding panicked, like this was some banking glitch he could whine into reversing. "My account's frozen. I can't access my money." "What did you do?" "Court order. Your account's attached until the judgment's satisfied. You had 90 days. "This is insane. I have bills. You had options. Return the equipment. Pay the judgment. You chose neither." "I need the rig for work. I do freelance editing." Should have thought about that before accepting stolen property or ignoring a court order for 90 days. He tried explaining his financial situation like it mattered. I let him talk himself out. Return the equipment or the attachment stays until you've paid every dollar plus interest. Since Greer's parents already paid the primary judgment, you're off the hook for the money. But the equipment still needs to come back. Judge's orders. He hung up. Week later, I got notified he'd returned it. Dropped it at the courthouse. Constable verified everything matched. I picked it up that afternoon. Sold it on Facebook Marketplace for $3,800. Not a bad return considering I'd already been paid back the original amount by Greer's parents. Filed satisfaction of judgment for Reese. Case closed. Greer's parents helped her into a small studio across town. Major downgrade. She sent one final text. "You won. Hope you're satisfied." I didn't respond. The bank's fraud investigation concluded after about 4 months. They confirmed the charge was unauthorized based on the police report and court judgment showing I'd recovered the funds through legal means. Since I'd already been made whole through the judgment, they closed the investigation without issuing a refund. Everything balanced out. Bought myself that tackle box I'd wanted. $200. New rod. Quality lures. Started dating again. Met someone at a cookout. She had her life together. Owned her car. Had a retirement account. We split checks without drama. She asked about my last relationship. I gave her the short version. Her ex pulled something similar. We bonded over red flags. Didn't last. Different life goals. Parted as friends. No drama. No theft. No lawyers. Progress. About 8 months after court, I ran into Greer downtown, coming out of a coffee shop. She looked different. Tired. Hair in a messy ponytail. Clothes that didn't fit right. The designer watch was gone. I could have walked past. Didn't. She looked up. Saw me. Surprise? Anger. Then desperation. "Can we talk? Please?" I didn't respond. I lost everything. My job. My apartment. My boss found the court records and fired me. I can't get hired anywhere because it shows up on background checks. That's what happens when you steal. I made a mistake. One mistake and you destroyed my entire life. You made calculated choices for 5 months. She wiped her eyes. Mascara smeared. Reese doesn't even talk to me. He blamed me for everything. I'm living in a studio working retail because nobody else will hire me. I started walking past her. She grabbed my arm. "Wait, please?" I looked at her hand until she let go. I was wrong. About everything. I threw away the best thing I ever had. I miss you. I miss us. Can we try again? I'll do anything. I looked at her. Saw the desperation. The regret that hit too late. No. Please, I learned my lesson. I'll never take you for granted again. Just give me one more chance. You had your chance. You spent it buying your ex a gaming rig with my money while planning our wedding. That's not fair. It's exactly fair. You made your choices. Live with them. She was fully crying now. I still love you. I was just confused. But I know now. I know what I lost. People were staring. You don't love me. You love what I provided. Stability. Someone who handled everything while you played. That's gone. I made one bad choice, and you punished me like I was nothing. You made me feel like nothing first. Remember Christmas? Remember telling me real men don't expect gifts? She flinched. I was wrong. You were right, though. Real men don't beg. They don't negotiate with people who disrespect them. They just leave. So you're just going to walk away and leave me like this? You left yourself like this. I just stopped cleaning up after you. She reached for me again. I stepped back. Please take me back. I'll sign whatever you want. A prenup. Separate accounts. I can't do this without you. There it was. She couldn't do it without me. Never could. You'll figure it out. Or you won't. Not my problem anymore. How can you be so cold? After 3 years? You threw us away when you stole from me. I'm just accepting reality. Something you should try. I hate you. Bitter now. Tears streaming. I hate you for being so heartless. No, you hate that actions have consequences. I walked past her. She called after me. You're going to regret this. When you're alone, you'll realize you threw away someone who actually loved you. Kept walking. Didn't look back. Got to my truck. Sat there for a minute. Phone buzzed. Text from Greer. I'm sorry. For everything. I wish I could go back and do everything differently. You deserved better. I hope someday you can forgive me. I'll always love you. Deleted it. Blocked her number. Started the truck. Went fishing that weekend. Caught 3 bass and a catfish. Kept the catfish. Cooked it with lemon pepper. That was closure. Guys, we are so close to hit 100,000 subscribers on this channel. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. It really helps hit that 100,000 mark. Thanks for making this dream come true.